Cool. So we are live.
Sounds
Welcome
good.
to the Ordinary View, which is just basically our views on the fitness industry and life in general, just for the ordinary person. Try and make fitness accessible and easy to digest, and try and get rid of some of the myths. And there will be swearing, so let's just make it nice and easy. The bullshit that surrounds the fitness industry. Yeah. Lee, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Lee, and it's my belief that the fitness industry, the diet industry, everything surrounding the whole body image industry is vastly overcomplicated and not tailored for like the beginner, the average person, the ordinary bloke on the street who just wants to improve the physical health in whatever way. And yeah, I think everybody should know it. I'm sure every industry has industry secrets, things that the people in the industry know, and they kind of hold back from the public, because if the public knew, then they wouldn't need that product or that service, and they wouldn't pay for it. And the fitness industry is definitely one of the biggest culprits. So basically, I've dedicated myself recently to trying to tell anybody who will listen that you don't need to overcomplicate it. Keep it simple, and you will get there.
And where can people find out more about you and what you do,
so
away from Ordinary View?
Yeah, so I've kind of created a brand, so to speak, called Average Fitness. YouTube videos, Instagram content, TikTok content, all centered around the same key theme of keep it simple and you'll get to where you want to be. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to follow a specific diet. All these different types of things are basically there to make it sound more complicated than it is. So if you want to find out more, then obviously tune in whenever you can and DM directly if needs be. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're a fitness instructor, yeah? So you do a lot of you started off with the social circuits, the fitness, the outdoor fitness group stuff. Cool.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, everything that I've been doing ever since I've been in the fitness industry in whatever kind of aspect, bear in mind, I do work full time in a normal job as well. It is more of a hobby than anything else. I've never understood why it's been perceived to be so complicated when to me it seems so simple. And I think a lot of things are like that, to be fair.
100%.
But yeah.
Yeah. So me, I'm Gaz, I'm JDC Fitness. Exactly the same views as Lee there. I'll probably skip between calling him Lee and Hunter, because calling him Lee just sounds absolutely insane to us.
It sounds weird to me as well.
I know. But basically, my philosophy is fitness should be for everybody. It shouldn't be for these fitness models or these Geordie Shore wannabes. I've got clients in my PT side of things ranging from 12-year-old to their 60s. And they're all doing the same sort of thing. I obviously tailored to their ability, but I've got 13-year-olds doing deadlifts and I've got 60-year-olds doing deadlifts. It's not for elite level athletes. You can tailor fitness for everybody, and they're all doing the same thing and they're all making gains. You touched on it. Well, actually, I still blow my own trumpet for a bit. So obviously, I'm a personal trainer with JDC Fitness. I'm also a fight coach for East Meets West Black Belt Academy with over 25 world champions to my name. Myself, I'm a world champion as well, but that's too much. I don't like to blow on my own trumpet that much. And like I say, fitness in every sort of aspect is for everybody. I've got a fighter who was told by the old fight coach that he would never be a fighter. He's now a multiple-time world champion, defending across all different platforms. And that he wouldn't have done that without somebody to guide him, saying, "You can't do this." Like, it is for everybody. You touched on something massive on you. Sorry. Go on.
I was just going to interrupt there for a split second. To be fair, I don't know exactly when it was that I first came along to East Meets West, but it was obviously some time ago, probably somewhere in the region of 10 years ago. And that was literally the first thing that I seen when I walked in, was such a vast kind of difference of not only ability, but type of person who was there. You've got
100%.
Blokes who are looking to lose weight. You've got kids who are looking to burn off some energy. And it was just such a kind of a low pressure kind of environment. And I thought, this is exactly what it should be like. Like, there's no reason. When you think of a martial arts dojo, you think of like all these like nutters running around, kicking the hell out of everything, and being like absolutely nails. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, that doesn't have to be like that. Great. That's fine. I've got nothing against that. And that's fantastic for those people. But if you're just looking to get into it, what's the number one thing that beginners who've never been to a gym say? I'm too embarrassed to go to the gym because I don't know what I'm doing. Everybody's like that, and you need places like East Meets West, personal trainers like yourself, and people who are just out there saying, look, everybody's the same. Nobody's got it figured out when they first start, because why would they,
Exactly. And people always message the page for the kickboxing, and they're like, they do beginners classes. And I'm like, no. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't do beginners classes. because I can teach to all abilities. And
At the same time.
Yeah, why would I put beginners? And then obviously I've got an advanced squad class for my athletes to train and ready to go compete, but everybody trains together and grow together.
Yeah.
But you touched on something in your intro. You said, like, I don't understand why fitness has become so, like, made so complicated and stuff. And then you said, like, oh, every industry's got its secrets. But it's like everything, it all boils down to greed and money. Like,
it's just money.
The fitness industry, for years, everybody relied on magazines. The fitness industry's over in the first magazine. Eat less, move more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Job done, right? So how we're going to make money out of the fitness industry? Now we've got to make up a load of bullshit, load of different hard exercise and stuff, and to make content.
Yeah,
and that's what it spiraled from. Hell, breakfast is the most important thing of the day. That became a fact. It was actually a marketing campaign by Kellogg's in the 60s, and it was an advert, and it became fact. And then it went full circle, and intermittent fasting made skipping breakfast a fucking monetized thing.
it's just swings and roundabouts, yeah. But like I say, it's the same in every industry. You know, I mean, you've obviously had jobs in a couple of different industries. I've worked for pretty much every company on earth at this point, and it's the same in every industry. You know, they'll kind of push something because they see a gap in the market, and then once that gap's gone, and once the market share has been distributed, they'll push something else. And I understand it. Listen, there's nothing wrong with making money. Like, I would love I would love not to go back to work tomorrow, you know, especially during the times that we're in. I would love to just do fitness for my whole life. But how do you, like you say, how do you make money out of that? And personally, I don't see anything wrong with making money in the fitness industry, honestly, telling people the truth
100%.
And helping the people who have come to you for help. Like, that's the reason clients come to you. It's not to pay your bills, it's for help. And they don't mind paying your bills as long as you're helping them. So why not do that? And I just don't understand I wouldn't have the energy to lie to people and say, like, oh, this is important, that's important, make sure you do this, make sure that. It's just horseshit, all of it. Keep it 100%. Simple. But that's not to say that people don't need to be held accountable along the way. So I'm sure most of your job is basically you just kind of checking in with people when they say, yes, I have done this, I have done that, and they don't want to let you down. It's not that they don't want to let themselves down necessarily, because if they didn't have you, they probably would let themselves down, and they would justify it in whatever way. But because
about to say you will make justification for yourself time and time again.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm a personal trainer. I know this shit, and I still drink every night and justify it by I'm gonna get on a run tomorrow. And it doesn't
Have you ever
work.
been on a run the next day?
Nah.
I mean, I had Chinese takeaway leftovers for dinner today. You know what I mean? I thought, like, the irony, I haven't had a takeaway for like 2 months, and the irony of, like, oh, I'm starting this new podcast talking about fitness, and I'm sitting here eating like house special fried rice for my dinner, you know. But that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you are holding yourself accountable, and as long as you have that discipline most of the time. And there's no issue. People, it's all demonized. You know, people think, like, if I have a drink that isn't Coors Light, I'm gonna lose all my gains I've made all week. And it's like, they just want you to think that. It's all smoke and mirrors, because people want to make money out of you.
In a very risky area, I'll go with my clients on the 80-20 rule. If you're 80% of the time, if you're on plan, then the 20% isn't that much of a factor, because you're more likely to adhere and stick to your plan 80% of the time rather than 100% of the time. And when you try to stick 100% of the time, it might last for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it just goes down, and you go from 100% of everything to 100% of nothing, and then it just come back round.
There's a guy I watch on YouTube quite often called Simon Sinek, and he talks a lot about leadership. He's written books, and it's mainly business. He talks about, you know, leadership in the workplace, and you know, all this kind of thing. And he actually uses a fitness analogy in one of his talks about leadership. And the example he gives is, if you go to the gym, right? If you say you're overweight, so you've let yourself go, whatever, you go to the gym for 10 hours, right? 10 hours at the gym, and you work your socks off. What are you going to look like the next day? When you look in the mirror the next day, what are you going to see? Absolutely nothing. You're not going to see any changes. And worse than that, you're going to be in a lot of pain. So you're going to think, this isn't working. You can do that 3 days in a row. But if you do 20 minutes a day, every day, or most days, not even necessarily every day, for X amount of months, not only will you not be sore or not as sore, you're going to see improvement, because consistency is more important than intensity. It's a bit like brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth every day, it makes a big difference. If you miss a day here or there, or you forget in the morning and you do it in the evening, it doesn't matter. Whereas if you didn't for a year and then brushed them all day on the last day of the year, your teeth are still going to fucking drop out. It's too late. The intensity can't make up for the consistency. You need to be consistent, but not necessarily all the time, just most of the time.
One hot day doesn't make a summer.
Yeah, exactly. That was like a one-sentence version of the 20 minutes I was just saying.
No, but 100%. There was something in my head, and then I totally said, "Oh, that is where I went wrong massively on it for many, many times." Like I've in my fitness journey, I've done everything. I was a supplements wet dream, supplement company's wet dream. I took every supplement under the country, every supplement in the world. Then I tried every diet in the world. But I think that's what's made us into the trainer that I am now. I haven't just done what worked for me and then gone, this is what you have to do. I've walked that path that everybody's done. I've tried all the supplements. I've tried all the quick fixes.
That's who doesn't love a shortcut? Like, I do get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not rocket science.
And then the other side of the thing was, like you're saying about intensity, I used to hit the gym 2, sometimes 3 times a day. I would go before work and then I would go after work. Or I would go before work for like 2 hours and then train kickboxing on the night, but I would do that 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And like, I was thinking, why aren't I making gains? And it was because I was active for 2 hours, but I sat on my arse the rest of the time, like, because I was so tired and I was so wrecked. My body was in so much pain. And then after a few months, injury, laid off. And then the whole vicious cycle where I could have went to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Done a couple of kickboxing sessions and been absolutely like up here rather than rock bottom, training hard. Just checking the chat. I read Phil and then Kev smiles. Hello, lads. You're smashing it. Just anybody in the chat who's watching, if there's something you want to discuss, if you something you want to ask, pop it in there and we'll discuss it. Helps us get content, helps you get a bit of info in there. We are about a 20-30 second lag behind, so please bear with us.
Bear with us a little bit. Just on that note, you were just saying there about going to the gym almost too much. I know it's a kind of it's a grey area in terms of like what's too much, what's overtraining, etc., etc. The thing is, I mean, I can't speak for you obviously, but I can definitely speak for myself. And I've definitely noticed this amongst a lot of people is they'll say things like, "Well, I've been to the gym, so therefore I deserve the cake or the donut or the sweets or whatever." And okay, that's great, no problem. That's basically my ethos is like, I want to eat whatever I fucking want. So I'm going to do workouts as much as I can. Do you know what I mean? But
I only work out because I eat so much.
Yeah, well,
that should be the size of a barn door.
Yeah, it's fine in the balance, but that's the thing. It's if you go and smash the gym, you're a lot more likely to sit down a lot. You're a lot more likely to not want to go out for a walk on a nice day like today or whatever. And you're a lot more likely to even subconsciously think, well, it doesn't matter what I eat because I'm going to be healthy because I'm going and I'm doing 900 press-ups a day. Whereas if you just paid a little bit more attention to what you eat, not necessarily restricting yourself, just don't take the piss and then do shorter workouts, then it'll all balance out and you'll probably be in better shape anyway.
100%. It becomes falling in love with the journey, doesn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Trusting the process, but actually enjoying the process, not just looking for the results. I think that's a wider problem. You can apply that kind of logic to pretty much anything in the world. It's like everyone wants the results. Everyone wants the blue tick on Instagram. Everyone wants the million followers. Nobody wants to actually provide the value that 1 million people are going to want to follow you.
Back on that gym thing, I made a video about it. Like, don't go to the gym to lose weight. Like, it was the best clickbait title that I could even ask for. Like, it goes into what you're saying. If you go to the gym to lose weight, you reward yourself with crap. So you'd be like, I can eat this fucking 14 pizzas a night.
Yeah. I achieved this, therefore I deserve this. Yeah.
Or I'm going to the gym tomorrow, so I'll eat this. Like, you should be going to the gym the gym should be a supplementation to your thing. Like, go for results, go to move better, feel better, function better, be stronger, look better naked. But the rest of it comes from everything else. It's all a podium into what it is.
Yeah. I was watching a video. There's a guy, I don't know if you've seen him, called Joe Delaney. He's a PT and a kind of a YouTuber from Manchester, I want to say.
Right.
And he was saying on one of his videos, he's really big on YouTube, and he sounds like a pretty like nice lad, and he's got his head screwed on, And he said, motivation is the reward for working out, not the other way around. You don't need 100%. The motivation to work out. That's the reward, is wanting to do it is the best thing you could ask for. Like
100%.
I wake up on my days off and I'm like, get in, take Louise to work, have my breakfast, and then I'm going to absolutely like crush this workout. And then that's it. That is literally the highlight of my day. And it's not because I'm some freak who likes, doing press ups. I don't really. The results will come. I actually enjoy the journey of getting fitter, not just being fitter. And I think once you can make that, there's no secret to kind of how you can shift your mindset to do that. But once you can do it, it's the biggest thing you can do. I
think that's why resistance training is so much better than anything else. Yeah. Obviously, I always push for resistance training because it's going to give you the more benefits over cardio and everything else. So obviously, cardio has got its place. But with resistance training, you can come in and you could do 10 reps at 10 kilo and then go, right, I'm going to go for the 12. And you might get 2 reps. And then the next week you'll get 3. And then that's when the magic happens. It becomes like, I'm seeing improvement. And I've seen that massively with my clients since I started 100%. Going PT full time. Like they come in, like Claire, my wife, like she, obviously for those who don't know, I was taking her to the gym and she was like, oh, this is boring as shit, man. Can we get in the ring and start punching and kicking stuff? And I was like, right, however. And we're cutting that resistance training short. We're doing pad works and stuff. And then 2 or 3 weeks in, she was like, I was like, try these. You couldn't do it the other week. And she bench pressed more than she did the week before. And she was like, and I could see that spark. And the next week, there was no pad work. She just wanted to do the weights.
It doesn't take much.
And then every time I walk past the bedroom, she's like, I'm the mirror.
Once you make that switch, it doesn't take much. I'm sure Louise won't mind us saying, we were working out today and I was pretty much finished and I was in the living room. And I heard her go, and I was like, whoa, what's the matter? She went, I just did a pull-up. And I was like, what? And she was like, I've never been able to do pull-ups before. I just tried one then. I did it. I didn't even think about it. And she was absolutely buzzing for about 2 hours. She's probably still sitting smiling about it now. Because as soon as you can achieve something that you haven't done before, it's like a drug. Well, it literally is a drug. It's dopamine, isn't it? Like that is what working out does for you. And that's the underrated part. Everyone wants the results. Nobody wants the feeling as you're doing it.
Your Louise has just actually asked a mint question. How do you get into the fitness mindset when you can't be asked? And there's a golden thing where
that's the secret sauce. Yeah,
it's the secret sauce. Motivation will only get you so far.
Motivation gets you started. That's how I feel about it.
Motivation will dwindle. Yeah. Like for example, January I qualified for the World Championships. The World Championships aren't until October. Yeah. Like for the first few weeks, I'm like every morning 6 a.m. road work, pad work, stretching.
You're not going to be motivated for 10 months.
That's not October. Not when the summer comes. Hell, it doesn't even last in March. So especially discipline has to take over.
Barbecues every weekend.
Initially, I would say discipline has to take over. At the minute, I'm currently reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he touches on something, and he's like, motivation's great, but environment's so much better. Like, obviously, we're in lockdown at the minute, but if you're working out at home and you're like, oh, I can't be arsed, and you've got cookies out on the bench and stuff, go outside.
Yeah.
Go outside, go on a walk. It'll reset that environmental change and then get yourself in thing. But a lot of it's discipline and just thinking something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That walk outside for 10 minutes could turn into an hour walk. An hour walk is easy 5,000 steps.
Yeah.
Without any real impact or effort. And hell, you can walk to bloody Costa and get a coffee or something.
Yeah. Like I say, I mean, there's obviously motivation has its place, don't get me wrong, and it's great. And you should really make the best of it. If you're feeling it, go for it, great. But I remember when I was training for Tough Mudder a couple of years ago, remember when I wasn't working for that summer, it was 2018. And I was posting quite a lot on me, like my actual Instagram feed saying like, oh, doing this workout and I'm bringing me time down every time I do it and all this. And I remember saying to myself, motivation's great. And when you're really feeling good, you should really take advantage of it. But what are you going to do when it's hard? Like when you're feeling great, it's easy and you're enjoying it. How hard can you work when you're not enjoying it? And I think once you actually learn to like that, like when I walk into work on the morning and they're like, oh, okay, that's a massive delivery day, 18 pallets of dog food. I'm like, get in. Like this has got my name written all over it because I know I'm the hardest worker. And anybody watching who I work with, you know I'm the hardest worker as well. I literally feel better when there's more work to do because that's me written all over. But I wasn't always that way. It's a learned behavior, you know. And I think once you do it for a sustained period of time, anybody who's been in the military, I'm sure they'll tell you as well, you actually it becomes part of who you are.
Yep.
The motivation's great, but
like making your bed in the morning, habits, atomic habits, the compound. Another thing on beating motivation is write it down. Like if it's Sunday and then I say like, right, I'm gonna work out tomorrow. There's zero commitment to that.
Yeah.
Like I'll get up and I'll go on, right, should I work out? Wait, I'll have my breakfast first. And then life starts getting in the way. If you write down tomorrow, I'm going to work out after work, you write it down on your phone, whatever, or put it as a reminder on your phone. You've made a commitment to yourself and you're a lot more inclined to do so.
Yeah, because
everybody
you feel like you're
just said, anybody who's watching that, I am the hardest worker. Anybody who I've ever worked with is looking gone, he's fucking not. Especially if it's someone from Deep Blue, because they're like, he used to go at 3:00 when his caffeine wore out. He was asleep in somewhere in the warehouse. We could never find him.
But what is that though? Like that just illustrates the point though. Is like if you're not enjoying it, if you're doing something that doesn't like motivate you, or you don't have a vested interest in, or it's not something that's benefiting you, it's of course you're going to not be asked to do it. It's about training your mind to be that way. You know, and it's not some secret. I'm not saying like, you know, not some genius who stumbled onto something. It's really obvious stuff, but it takes actual practice to learn to do it.
It's like buying P90X and sitting watching it and hoping it'll do it when sitting on the arse. Another thing to point out to any other listeners is where you had said, when I go to work and we are ordinary people, hence the name Ordinary View. Yeah. We do have jobs. You've got a full-time job working shifts. I've worked 2-3 jobs for the past 15 years. It's only in the past 4 or 5 months that I've just went, I'm going to go full-time at this PT thing.
Yeah.
So for anybody who does...
lockdown, was it?
It was
before COVID?
No. I started doing it on the side during... Actually, did I do it as a... No,
it's weird because obviously
I'm trying to think when I started.
I don't think I've spoken to you for like a year before.
I know. So obviously I've done the kickboxing and the kickboxing personal training for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. But that was while you were working full time as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So I was working 9-5, kickboxing in the evenings, and then one-on-one sessions on a Saturday and Sunday, 7 days a week. Bit was for money, but a bit was people wanted that, and that was all that was the only time. So you had to graft it. It wasn't until lockdown, working from home was just absolutely not for me, and my job was looking like it was going to be working from home a lot more.
Right.
And then when we came out, when we started coming out of the original lockdown, I started doing like outdoor fitness classes.
Yeah.
And then Contract Gym, where I work at, they've just been massively supportive and helping us with imposter syndrome, which we could probably do a full podcast on imposter syndrome, because damn, that hits me hard.
It's a real thing,
massive. But they were really supportive in that, and then obviously I went for it. The initial thing was Boris turning around saying tier 1, 2, and 3, the gyms would stay open. And I was like, brill, that is perfect. Job security, that is awesome. And then November hit and he went, haha, surprise, motherfucker, tier 4. And I was like, what? Tier 4 lockdown. But the
thing is, this is
throughout January, you've trained with us. I was in Atley Park. I'm dragging 300 kilos out every day, so they've got to do it.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. I think people underestimate the value of accountability. Essentially, is that was all on you. Once you've left your job, you need to find a way. All these, I mean, don't get us wrong. I've got a lot of sympathy for a lot of people for the last 12 months, but all these business people, business owners, I'm talking, big businesses. Oh, we've been forced to close our doors. You've been forced to do nothing except adapt, and you haven't. And maybe you couldn't. And I'm not saying that, I don't know your circumstances, but if you can change it, well, look at yourself as an example. You know, if I had said to you a year ago, oh, this time next year, you're going to be dragging all those weights out of this, van you've just bought into the middle of a park in the middle of nowhere to train people in the snow. There's just no way that would have happened. But once it was on your shoulders, you knew you had it in you. And it's the same, going back to the question that we're taking 27 years to answer, is how do you motivate yourself? When it's on you, you know what to do. There's nobody else you can blame. You can't point the finger and say, oh, you made us have that takeaway, or you made us not be asked to do that workout. It's only benefiting. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. But if it's benefiting you, it's on your shoulders. You need to make it happen. I posted something, I think it was on my personal Instagram the other day, saying, this everything happens for a reason. Things happen because people make them happen. That's just it. This whole everything happens for a reason bullshit can fuck off. Everything happens because people make it happen, and when it's on your shoulders, you will make it happen.
100%. Good things doesn't come to them people who wait.
Yeah.
Good things come to them who go out and make it happen.
Some people get lucky.
Don't get me wrong. I have
people
been
win the lottery.
so lucky. I landed on my feet with the personal training outdoor thing. Like, obviously, I had the van for moving the hit steps around. The gym, the guys who run the gym, Lindsay and Brian, were absolutely amazing by letting us lend the gear to take with us, because I wasn't going to take a couple of resistance bands and a dumbbell and and I expect people.
But they wouldn't have done that for anybody, though. I'm sure. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've earned that right by being the way you are with people. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That's what I mean by making it happen. Not just necessarily like with your physical actions, but like every action has a consequence. So the way you are with people will people get what they deserve in the end. Generally speaking, that's
like
kind of the point I'm making.
The people as well, the clients. Like if I said to me, I'm going to work out at Atley Park, are you still there? Have I cancelled it?
No, I'm here.
Oh, I thought if Gaz the PT was talking to Gaz the client, he went, I'm working out in the field, I'd be like, I buy your cell, bro.
Yeah.
My clients were absolutely amazing. And they're like, they were like, we will still train outdoors. Like, I found them some shelter. Hell, the wind was a bit of a bitch, but was shelter from the rain. We trained out in the bandstand, and every single one like showed up in that, which is just, I totally bow down to that. Like, it was amazing.
To be fair, I know a couple of your clients, as you know, and obviously I don't know most of them, but let's just say we're talking about them all as a whole. Well, they wouldn't have done that for anybody. But you've probably almost certainly helped instill a kind of accountability in them, is they don't want to let you down because you've helped them and they know you have, but they also don't want to let themselves down by saying, okay, well, we had it easy. We were training out the back of the gym. Everything was fine. Now it's a bit more difficult. I still want to do it. You ask any single one of your clients, when you started, if I said, I train in a field in the middle of nowhere, come and meet us and we'll lift some weights in the cold, would they have come? No, they wouldn't, because they didn't have that self-confidence to be able to do that. But now they do, and that didn't come from nowhere. That came from you, and it came from them. And I think people underestimate that side of fitness training. Everyone wants the six-pack. Everyone wants the guns. People don't necessarily care about the extra self-confidence it brings and that accountability of, I can do this, so I'm going to.
And it goes back to what I said about Claire, about how she wanted to do pad work until she started seeing gains and she started seeing strength progress, and then all she wanted to do was weights. One of my clients during the first lockdown, she was like, look, I don't feel confident training outside. And I was like, that's totally cool. But if she had any paid, I can't remember off the top of my head, but if she had any block bookings, they were reserved for her when she came back. The second time we were forced outside by Boz, she was like, I don't want to lose the gains I've got now.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose this momentum. And she came
momentum's
to train.
a big thing, yeah.
And she taught me something, because she came to train and she brought like some old trainers, and I was like, I've been coming out here for 2 weeks. I've ruined 3 pairs of trainers, and my ass is kicked off. Now I'm going to wear wellies to come stand up in the morning. I don't care how stupid I look. I've got wellies. But that's the same thing. It all goes full circle again.
Yeah.
And as
I think momentum's a massive thing. Yeah.
Does that include does what include your mum? I've actually just mentioned that there, though. That's a bit weird. But yeah. Let's have a look, see if I can reply. I can. It's probably weird looking at one screen and typing on another keyboard.
Well, you've got people in the chat asking.
Someone saying that include my mum.
I think you should feel that. I feel like you should give a little bit of context to that.
Just saying, does that include your mum? I was like, what?
Anybody who's just jumping in at this point thinking, what the hell are these lads talking about? Yeah, I think momentum's a big thing. And I think once you know yourself, once you're doing something, it's just so much easier to keep doing it. So yeah, I think it's again an underrated part of fitness is actually doing it and then kind of building on what you've started.
Yeah.
And I think some people have a natural capacity for it. I only learned this about myself probably in the last few years, when I was obviously unhappy in the industry I was previously working in, and then when I've complained every day for the last year in the industry I'm currently working in, is you start thinking and you start asking people like, what do you think? Like, this is how I feel. What do you think that means? And it's starting to kind of learn more about yourself. And I noticed like all the games I play, all the TV shows I'm interested in, all the activities I'm interested in outside of work, it's all kind of built around the same thing, which is starting something from scratch and building it to something. So when I play computer games, I play Settlers or Civilization or Football Manager, taking something and making it into a bigger thing. When I'm not at work, I'm either working out, or I started an Instagram page for where I work because I wanted to prove I can build this from nothing to being the best. And then I did it. And then once I got to being the best, I kind of lost interest in it a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like I'm all about the journey, because that's a good bit. Do you know what I mean? There is no
James Smith always says, and I can't remember where he quotes it from, but he steals it, so I'm going to steal it from him. James Wish, if you ordered him from Wish. Becoming is better than being.
Yeah.
And I see this in the martial arts world. How many students I get who are like committed 4 or 5 days a week, train their heart out, get the black belt, go.
See you. Yeah.
That's all they got to the destination, and that was it. Like, there's shitload more to learn and stuff, and there's loads more to do.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing.
Same thing, like I said, computer games there. How shit would it be if you got a loading screen of your computer game, press start, and went straight to the end level?
Yeah,
like
everybody always.
But nobody sees that in life.
Games are too, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the reason you like computer games is because you like playing them, not winning at them. You know,
leveling up, getting through there. Look at your life as that. And again, that goes down to, I think that's so much easier to see in the resistance-based fitness world.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously, I teach hit step, but it's very hard to monitor hit step. Like, because it's so varied, I'm not like, right, I've done better this week, because you don't see that unless you're recording it.
That makes sense.
I've got the recording of Carly where I've got 4 months doing the same exercise, and she's going faster in the second one, higher, longer, but you don't see it because it's a cardio thing. You don't count how many reps you're doing all the time.
It makes sense.
You just get faster all the time. But with the resistance, you know you're getting stronger because you physically know them weights are heavier, or you did more reps.
Or you can do a pull-up that you couldn't do before. But like, taking Carly as an example, and I assume you're talking about the same Carly I think you are. Like, look at where, and I'm sure she'll say herself, like, she would have been happy with let's say the first phase of the improvement she made, Yeah, well, but then once you start doing it, you know what I mean? It becomes a compounding effect, and you're like, well, I'm here now, and I love the journey, not just how much better I feel. I want the next journey and the next and the next, and there's not really a limit. Do you know what I mean?
No,
so once you become addicted to the journey,
what's that? She started because our kids were training, and she was like, "Can I train on the nights that I don't do it, just for a bit of fitness, a bit of exercise, because I've started going to the gym and it's something different and I enjoy it." And I was like, I think I'll enjoy the pad work. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, hold on, this little shit's got she's got a lot of potential. Yeah. And I was like, do some pad work, and I got a bit, and I was like, do you want to try sparring? I can't do sparring. Got her sparring, and just started to see the confidence grow, our ability getting better. And then I was like, 6 months time, we're going to have a competition, and you're going to try in a competition. And she was like, when was it? 6 months? It was a year. It was a year. I give her a year's time frame because it was fighting before she was 40. She was meant to be 40 in, I believe, March. Yeah, it was March. The end of March was going to be 40, and that was what we were going to do. We we're going to build this whole platform, fighting before 40. And then January came around, and I was like, you know what? Bring your stuff down to the competition that your kid's fighting in. You're going to fight in the English Championships. And she won. She won gold and she won a silver and 2 different things. And then lockdown hit. And we would never have finished that chapter. So I'm glad I pushed her in the January, which goes on to another massive topic we could have a whole podcast on. Don't wait to do shit. Like, if she had waited, we would have never finished it. That's a year gone now. She would never have went, let's start where we were, because you couldn't. And that goes with everything. If you want to if you want to go do a job, a career, start your own business, do it. If you want to go traveling, do it. Don't wait until you retire and hope that, one, you've got the money saved up out your pension to do so, or even worse, that you're actually physically and mentally able to do it. Hell, I think I'm 34 and I'm clicking, my body's dead.
I think people underestimate the value of, like, not necessarily being reckless. I don't want to come across as like, fuck everything, just go and do whatever you want. But like,
make it happen, like you said.
People have got to pay for their actions. That's one thing we've learned, or that's one thing we'll certainly learn when Boris finally gets his comeuppance. But there's a lot of value in being bold, not necessarily reckless, but making bold choices. You ask
100%.
anybody who's succeeded at anything. What was the secret? Trusted me gut, or, you know, I went for it, or whatever. And, you know, things don't always work out. Don't get us wrong, you know, but there's a reason that fortune favors the brave is a saying. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Not always. It's not guaranteed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a risk. But people take risks, and you know, it generally, they'll either appreciate what they learned or whatever from it. You know, there's very few people who took a risk and then go, "Yeah, I wish I never done that."
I'm annoyed at myself because I'm 10 years behind where I should be.
Yeah, I was just saying this the other day when you mentioned social
soon.
circuits earlier on. Yeah, like, and then if I had started the YouTube channel, then I wouldn't have to fucking work through lockdown. I would have been, you know, a multi-millionaire by now. This is bullshit.
I was Enigma Fitness before I was GDC Fitness, like, and I was doing circuits like you were, and then that dwindled off because I just wasn't in the right place in the right time. But I had success isn't a straight line; it's that wiggly line of failures that you've got to learn. Like,
but there's no difference between what you did then and what you're doing now in terms of the risk that you take to go to the next level. It was still a risk now, and you took it this time. And, you know, in your case, you don't regret it. You know what I mean? That won't necessarily be the case for everybody, but there's a lot to be gained from that kind of attitude. And I think attitude and the mindset going forward, again, I could talk for a year about mindset and how it's more valuable than any exercise, anything you can do regarding fitness. Mindset is everything. But I think people, even if people know that, even me, I know that, and I still underestimate it. You can't put enough value on it.
Nah. What if it goes wrong? What if it goes right?
Yeah. What if it goes wrong? And things have gone wrong before.
I've lost my job. I've lost jobs numerous times for like redundancies and stuff. Hell, I lost my company. I lost the supplement company. What's it called? The Dole didn't give me shit all. I couldn't pay me rent. I couldn't pay me bills. What that could have been my own job, and then you know what I mean. Like, I luckily had support of people who got me through that rough month, and I got myself a new job at Deep Blue, and I was there for 4 years again. But
this is the thing, though, because you know, if you do it in the right way, if you act appropriately throughout, and you don't, say for example, say you had, you know, the supplement company, and you were ripping people off left, right, and center because all you cared about was the money. You think anybody would have stood by it? No, because you wouldn't be a nice person. You wouldn't be the kind of person that people wanted to support, because that's what you do to people. Whereas because you have the mentality of, I actually want to help people and make money along the way, which there's nothing wrong with, that's when people want to support you. That's when people will go out of their way to help you. Or like when your clients will go out of their way to train outside, because they see the value in, you're not just there to rip them off. Yes, you're making a living from it. And that's coming back to the reason we started this podcast to begin with, is there's probably millions, if not definitely hundreds of thousands of fitness influencers out there who are just about the money. Maybe they start off with the right intentions. Maybe the money got them. Who knows? I don't know. I can't speak for them, but they'll sell you anything. And I'm just not interested. I used to be a salesman, and I left that job and took a 60% pay cut for a fucking reason. Do you know what I mean? I'm not cleaning out the hamsters at work because I love it. I'm there because I hated where I was, because it's just not a nice way to live. And I think it's a massively underestimated part of life, is doing what is right. Doing what is right will pay dividends, because when shit hits the fan, like it has this past year, people will step up for those people.
Morals pays back as well. Like, when I had the supplement shop, before I took over as as owner and runner of it, I worked there, and obviously I worked.
What was that called again? I remember that. What was that called again?
Rhinox.
That's right. Yes.
Random name.
I remember.
But I was working 6 days a week there, Monday through to Saturday, and I got sick. Well, basically sitting watching TV shows. I ran out of TV shows. So half my hours, I went down to 2 days a week. But I was, one thing that they used to get really wound up between me and the other person was, I was shit at upselling.
Yeah.
But what they quickly realized is, people were coming in on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I wasn't in. There's guys in. No. Come back on a Wednesday. There's guys in.
Yeah.
Wednesday in, Thursday. Come back in on a Thursday. And they might have been buying less, but they were buying more regular. Whereas the other guy was really good at upselling. This is going to go 2 years in a second. I'm going to go another run. Yeah. He was really good at upselling. But we never seen them people again. They bought all these supplements. They went home, and then 2 weeks later, shit all happened. I'm telling people, protein's protein. It's all the same. Buy the cheap shit that'll last you longer. might not taste as good, but it's going to do the same job, and that's going
But
to save you some money.
who added the most value to that company?
The value was to the customer, exactly,
You know what I mean?
and the customers came back long term. And the other bit was he looked the part. So,
don't get me
hell,
started
I don't even look
on
like
this.
a personal trainer. This is where we're going to go on a massive.
We're going to have to stop this soon because otherwise we're going to be here all night.
we're going to do a month's worth of podcast, but like you don't need to look the part to do it.
Yeah. When I went to Leeds to do my fitness instructor course, right, there was about 8 of us doing it, and there was a few people doing it for a variety of reasons. Actually, I thought it would all be like, you know, the cast of Geordie Shore were there doing their thing. You know, it wasn't like that at all. There was older people there who, one of them was a rugby coach, and he was like, "Oh, the lads that come in, they just want to hit the gym, so I want to get a better understanding, so I can help them with their rugby, regarding all that." But there was one young lad there, and he was a nice young lad. Don't get us wrong, and he was, you know, he was a lot bigger than me. Put it that way. He looked the part, and he literally said, word for word, he said, "You'll not get anywhere in this industry if you don't look the part." And I was like, "Mate, you fucking watch. You fucking watch." Because I'll never look like him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not interested. That is not what it's about. But he's got a point, because 9 out of 10 people who you know make money from the fitness industry, it's because they look the part. Yeah, they may be knowledgeable as well. They might be nice people, and they might even have the best interests of their clients at heart. But that's why they get the business, because it makes sense. You know, don't get us wrong. I'm not an idiot. I know it makes sense, but it doesn't need to be that way. You know. Especially if you're an ordinary person. Like if you're an ordinary beginner. If you're an amateur bodybuilder, go and speak to a former pro bodybuilder. Don't get us wrong. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not.
My niche is everybody, but not everybody. Like, if somebody came into me and said, "I'm going to a bodybuilding show, I want to compete in bodybuilding," I'd be like, "I'm not the PT for you.
I can't help you." Yeah.
Nah, I will find somebody who's better for you. Somebody who's done that path. Somebody who's walked that path. Same like
absolutely.
I thought there was a new message coming in. It's not. 100%. I've totally had a mind blank.
Well, like I say, I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking the part. And look, we all want to look better, and we all want to look stronger and be fitter and all that. But if that's your USP, I'm quite interested in business. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to like growing companies, growing the business. I'm forever arguing with my boss at work about COVID policies, but normally about like what's best for the business, you know? And I'm on minimum wage, but I actually care about how to grow the business. So there's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with improving in all those areas. And there's nothing wrong with making money out of the fitness industry. And if you look the part, that's going to help grow your audience, but do the right thing, because when it all comes back to bite you in the end, you're only going to have yourself to blame. You're not going to look great when you're 50. Do you know what I mean? Not compared to the 20-year-olds. You might look great for 50, but it's not going to help you.
The thing is, though, as well, these people don't look good 90% of the time. A lot. Oh, there is the pretty people who look the part and they're naturally skinny or toned or whatever. But I remember doing a catalog photo shoot when I was in I'm not naming any names in case this backfires, but the second supplement store with the bodybuilding that I used to work in. And I remember the lads and lasses coming in for this photo shoot, and I was thinking, shit, this is for your eyes only fucking day team. Yeah, like, who the hell's going to buy this shit, right? One of them I went to school with, and I was like, what the hell are you doing here?
You were the ugly kid back then, and you're still ugly now.
So they'd done that photo shoot, holding the weights and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like a few days later, I walks in the office, and I was like to the kid who does all the design, I was like, "Oh, what you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm making these people look good." Like fucking photoshopping everything from the tan, the hair in place, to there's one where there was the lass from the B team. She was doing a sit-up and he was putting fucking abs on her.
Yeah.
People don't look like this. There's that lass on Instagram. I wish I had thought ahead and had her to hand, but it's where she does that 15-minute body transformation. So her hair's puffy, she's got no makeup on, she's in her bra and that.
I don't know exactly who you mean, but I've seen a bunch of those before.
She goes away, she does her hair, she puts a better suited bra on and that, she turns sideways and she looks 100% different.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's just smoke and mirrors and bullshit, and that's what this podcast is for. Ordinary people to find out, that it's not about that. Caffeine's clearly kicking in, I'm getting excited.
I think a good way to end the podcast, whenever we decide to end it in a few minutes or whatever, would be to talk about like comparison. Essentially, is what you're saying. Comparison is the thief of joy. Is a cliche, and it's a cliche for a reason. But I can't remember who it was now. Might even have been you. I can't remember. I seen somebody post something about comparison not necessarily being a bad thing, but it depends on the context. Context is what matters, obviously. Yeah. And I think the person said something along the lines of, if you're comparing yourself to yourself, fine. If you're comparing yourself to another person based on performance or based on, you know, your aspirations to be better, stronger, fitter, whatever, great. If you want to look the way a certain person looks, it's a dark path. It's just nothing good comes of that ever.
And it's massive in this industry.
Yeah. Oh,
I literally posted, that was part of me post this morning about, like if somebody pulled up next to us at the lights in a Lamborghini, I'd be like, damn, that's a nice car. I wouldn't be sitting going, why haven't I got a Lambo?
Yeah.
Maybe because I'll probably wrap around a fucking lamppost the first time I got in, because I'm a tit. But
you don't do that in any of that.
You don't do that. You go, wow, that's a nice car, and your day goes on. Yeah. But then you look on Instagram and you're going, why don't I look like him? Why haven't I got abs like him? I do bicep
we all
curls.
Do it. We all do it.
We do. You know, but you've got to realize that that's a negative path. It's one of my best 1 minute fit tip videos that got the most response is why I don't look at other guys' dicks in this urinal.
Yeah.
And it's because even if his dick is bigger than mine, staring it's not going to grow mine. So
and what? Yeah, and you know,
I never grow on a show. That's why I go to the cubicles.
But like I say, like you don't take that attitude into any other aspect of your life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you might look at someone and go, I want to be as successful as them, so you can learn from them. But you don't look at them and go, oh, that's, you know, woe is me, right? And what good's that going to do? You know what I mean? It's just going to make you feel worse. Like that is not a productive trait. And fine, feel that way. You know, you can't control how you feel all the time. Feel that way if you want. Use it then. Use that as your motivation. Cues. You know what I mean?
So
use that.
What are they doing that you're not doing to get closer to your things?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of value in humility, you know, even asking that person, you know, reach out to these people and say, yeah, look, I don't mean to be, you know, a creep, but like, you look fucking good. Like any tips would be appreciated. And then you'll need to filter it because they will tell you some shit, you know. How many fitness influencers will tell you need to do 77 different ab exercises to get a six pack, you know? Or TikTok. How to grow your quads. Yeah, there's like 3 exercises that you need to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that complicated.
Do them consistently. Yeah. By the way, we started 40 minutes ago. Like, one workout.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
No one workout is going to change it. Like, it's about doing it constantly, progressive overload. And more podcasts will go into deeper, full things such as progressive overload, time on attention, all that sort of gear.
When I was on a day off or something, I was looking through YouTube because, as I mentioned before, I've got a YouTube channel. There's about 30 videos on there, and it's quite difficult. And Gary Vee actually talks about this quite a lot. He's been putting out pretty much daily content, certainly like pretty much every day, consistently on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc., for, and I mean like a decade, right? And he has like 6 things he cares about. And he gets asked the question all the time, how do you keep coming up with new content when you're just saying the same things? And he's like, well, A, those things are still true. So they still need to be talked about. And B, so what if you've only got 6 things you care about? Not many people have got a lot of things to say. It's how you say them. It's how the person receives them, etc., etc. So anyway, long story short, I was looking through YouTube at other people who have fitness YouTube channels, big ones, you know, big channels with hundreds of videos. And I'm looking through this one particular one. Couldn't for the life of me remember who it was, but I wouldn't even say it if I knew, you know. But I'm looking through and I'm thinking, am I like doing something wrong here? I'm scrolling and I've seen the same video 3 times. I hadn't seen the same video 3 times. I'd seen 3 separate videos with almost identical titles. How to get 6-pack, how to get better abs, how to get 6-pack abs. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this person wants to put out more content. This person has something to say. This person's offering value. And you know, the videos are fine, don't get us wrong. But it's not complicated. You don't need 27 different, you know, workouts for one thing. It's like, that's just not how it works, you know? And I realized then, I don't need to write a list of 80 different video ideas I've got. I just need to talk about the same core principles in different variations and use different metaphors, and that will help spread the message that I'm hoping to spread, which is you literally can do it. It really is simple. It's not easy. It's simple. There's a difference, and I think that gets mixed up quite a lot. But
that's a good way to put things. It is simple. It is.
Yeah.
It's simple. Patience and adherence beats absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Jill's just dropped in the chat and put real genuine info with a load of awesome emojis. Thank you very much. Guys, again,
Thanks,
anybody who's watching who wants any questions, either put it in the chat now. We're probably only going to be on for another few minutes. We'll ramble on for 50
I'm getting pretty hungry.
Or shoot
Chinese
a page a
well.
message. Shoot me a message at JDC Fitness or Gaz JDC. Shoot Hunter a message at Average Fitness. Shoot me a message. We'll bring it up on the podcast. Or like I say, the more interactive these chats come, the better it's going to be for us. I'll always have it live on Facebook for the chats. If I can find a way as I mess on to get it onto like TikTok, Instagram at the same time without destroying the bandwidth, we'll try that.
But that was the thing, because TikTok Live is a thing and YouTube Live is a thing, but I don't know enough about them to know whether it would. The last thing you want is to make it clunky and not really make any sense,
just to try and get out there. We should be available on audio podcasts throughout everything once this ends and records.
Yeah. The thing I was just going to say, like, to give like a behind the scenes kind of thing is, obviously we talked about before we kind of started recording, is we were kind of unsure, are we going to have enough to talk about? How is it going to go? I think it's become pretty clear that we've only just touched the top of the iceberg now.
We've like scattered across different subjects briefly.
There's a million things we can talk about, and any questions that anybody's got, we can touch on a million different ways as we go. And I'm sure the way we are, having known you for 20 years, we'll never shut up. So we were kind of debating, is it going to be a weekly thing? Is it going to be, we're just going to do like one and see how it goes? I think we could talk about this every day for the rest of our lives and we'd still be talking. So whatever the demand is and whatever we're both comfortable with in terms of actually, having the time we're both having full-time jobs, then
exactly.
Then I'm happy to kind of...
Obviously, life's going to get even faster over the next couple of months as Boris Roadmap works out as well. But again, just ordinary stuff, ordinary people. There was something I was going to touch on that came from there. We were saying before the recording started, before we went live with it, is we've got very similar views for the ordinary view side of things. But at the same time, we may not agree with something. So we're not going to buffer that out. If I say something and Hunter doesn't agree with it, he's going to chime in and say, well, my perspective is this, and we'll debate it out. And in fitness and in life in general, for every argument, there will always be a counter argument. So if there is something we don't agree on, we can talk about it, and you guys can. And
neither is necessarily right or wrong. It's just a different perspective on the same thing.
Nothing is 100% set in stone apart from Slim and Wells for sure. Had to get a slide one in there on the side.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Fuck Slim and Wells is there.
I said to myself I wasn't going to bring him into it. I told myself I wasn't going to. Oh.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you very much for joining on the live, guys. If you're listening on an audio stream, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Shoot me a message. I'll put more links on so you can find out how to contact me directly. Share our stuff, because at the end of the day, this stuff grows by likes and that. We're not doing it for a monetary reasons. We're not trying to make money. We're just trying to give a bit of value to the world.
Fuck that, I'm all about the dollar.
All about the dollar. Actually, with Anchor, when I signed up, it was like they will give you that streaming service. Well, we're going to post it on. They will give you an advert to speak out, and they'll pay with money for it at the start.
What?
Yeah, they're like, it's obviously down to views and stuff and listens and stuff, but obviously that's why like podcasts have a 14 minute
so like they basically give you a script, so you have to say this podcast is sponsored by Ford.
Square.com, where you can make your website. So like, Joe, get to the fucking podcast. It's been 15 minutes. I'm already halfway to work.
I've already bought 7 items before I even get to listen. Oh yeah, I like that. That's good.
But it's not about the money. It's all unscripted. We're just on here bullshitting out stuff that against each other and hopefully giving a bit of value. If we drop a nugget of information that helps one person get on the right path to fitness, that's invaluable. And like I say, 100%. Unscripted. We will knock up. It is rough. We're not putting like this awesome intro that you get on and stuff. Like, we're just gonna talk shit.
Unedited.
Just going to finish and upload.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. I think that went well.
We'll see you next Sunday, I guess.
Yep, Sunday at 5:00 is the definite, and if it gets a good response, we can look at other things. But like you say, you work shifts.
On that, if I do work a Sunday, and I think I am working next Sunday, I finish at 5, so 6:00 is probably more my speed. But
we can do 6:00.
We'll figure it out as we go. Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go.
I'll just.
All right, cool.
Right, cool.
Sounds good, man. Wrap it up.
Oh, hold on. Just
Turn everything off.
what? Oh, because I said Squarespace. Beaks has just dropped in a Squarespace.com advert into the chat. Thanks. You could have like posted all links, but no, you posted a Squaresoft.com thing.
Yeah, thanks,
Nice
Sophie.
Bro, awesome, bro. That was good.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'll get this uploaded.
I'll speak to you soon, mate.
All right, what are we doing? Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Peace. 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Woo!